Welcome back to the Becoming Shameless podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Wallace. Josiah couldn't be here today, so we have our guest.
Spiritual street soldier Damo.
And,
Tap in with me.
and today we'll be talking about the power of influence. Today's episode is called What's on Your Feed. So, Damo, do you believe that like what you watch affects how you think?
I I agree and believe that. Yeah, for sure.
Why do you think so?
Um Consume it. Whatever you consume was gonna consume you. People who smoke cigarettes most likely die of cancer. People who drink alcohol damn near die drug alcoholics. Whatever you consume, whatever you're willing to get in is gonna stay in unless you release. So yeah, that's definitely why I truly believe that you have to be aware of what you consume. You have to be aware of the things you. The mind is really a sponge. They say that for a young mind, but it's supposed to be a mind in general. You know.
I agree. I like the word consume because basically whatever you consume, if you're not consuming healthy things, how can you trust your gut? And that applies to food, information, you know what I'm saying, social media, all those things. If
Yes.
you're consuming the wrong things, it's gonna alter how you perceive things and then how you're gonna be able to trust if something's genuine or pure or not. And it kind of applies to like, say, if a man he watches a certain videos about how women and he's a certain perspective, when he meets an actually good woman, he's not gonna know if he could trust it because all the stuff he consumed, he's not gonna know how to interact properly. And most stuff you watch isn't even real life; it's altered.
Definitely. Whenever you have somebody trying to push an angle, they're always going to show the things that they want you to see so that you can believe the angle that they want you to receive.
For sure. And it's crazy because people don't really take into account the importance of knowing where you're getting information from or who you're getting information from. Like the background really matters. Like you could listen to somebody, but like I always ask, even myself, what place is this information coming from? So you can hear information from somebody, but if it's coming from a place of bitterness, because they're trying, misery loves company. So someone who's a miserable person who's bitter, they're gonna word it or word how they feel in a certain way so you can align with their viewpoint.
Yeah.
And it's like there's not really a genuine, unbiased, objective perspective. And I think a lot of people like they don't understand that, and especially on like social media, like every major platform has a dedicated demographic that they try to apply their information to, and people don't realize the information you're getting is never unbiased. So it's like you're not gonna really see the other perspective. And I'll say, in addition, a lot of people, if not most, are victims of algorithm. Whatever's on your For You page is for you. It's the same stuff that you like and how you feel regurgitated to you. You're not going to learn off of your For You page because you're
No
not going to
way.
see the objective.
No way. That's your for you is to stroke you, literally.
It strokes your ego. It just
Strokes you.
it literally just realigns with everything you already believe, and you'll go around like, oh, if something's not on the same mentality as what you're thinking, you're gonna be quick to dismiss it, and it's like you'll never learn if you never acknowledge the opposing viewpoint. There's because like I said, if you value knowledge, you value perspective. So you can't just ignore things that oppose whatever you believe. You have to be willing to receive information. Then you can discern if the information is proper or not. But if it's not, then you know what I'm saying, don't take it in. But sometimes you have to be willing to learn from anywhere. You can find knowledge at a grocery store.
You can find knowledge in mistakes. That's one of the biggest ways to learn in life. And me having older siblings, I've been quick to always learn off their mistakes. All three of them got kicked out of high school, so obviously that was a mistake that I was never willing to make going forward in life and in school. And it's just like you have to be willing to learn from people's mistakes. That's why you have people in your life that you may not be able to take advice from, but you can learn how to not be like them. Like if you grow up with a father that's not present in the home, you're learning how to not be like him because you know what it takes to be that type of person. You know?
For sure. And I think where there's mistake, there's opportunity. Like Edge cashing in the money in the bank. You could always benefit off a mistake. Because any mistake is a learning lesson, and every lesson is a blessing, and people don't take that into account.
Yeah.
But also, you have to be willing to learn. You have to learn how to be receptive. Humble yourself. I feel like you should definitely have the mercy of a king and humility of a poor man. Because if you have to be willing to learn, but your For You page will make you only a victim of the algorithm, and that's so many of y'all. Like y'all see stuff, and I'll say there's a lot of, and I'm not going to get too deep in it because I ain't trying to get canceled because we still we still a growing platform. But I will say a lot. The problem with a lot of our society is there's a lot of trigger words. And people don't. One thing and you know me, I can't stand when people negate context. People will hear a trigger word and be quick to dismiss something without even trying to understand it. And a lot of people lack understanding because of algorithm. If it don't align, they're like, you know what? I don't even want to understand where they're coming from. To the point, it makes us lose empathy for others because we're so dismissive to information. All because we're influenced by certain stuff.
Yeah. Understanding is definitely one of the greatest. Well, not if not one of the greatest things in the world is just understanding, is to be able to really grasp a concept or grasp an idea or grasp the words of something and process it in your brain and then understand it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of situations in life, whether it be the streets, whether it be spiritual, whether it be relationship. If there was just more understanding, then it would be less chaotic, or those bonds would have never been severed and those bridges would have never been burned. So it's just one of those things you really have to tell yourself that you want to understand things and learn.
So we're talking about the power of influence. Do you agree with the statement, you are who you hang with?
I can't say that I don't agree, because at the end of the day, who you surround yourself with, you surrounding yourself with them for a reason.
Okay.
I say that to say we don't hang around our enemies. You don't hang around your enemies because you don't like them. You don't like them because of certain.
You don't agree with them.
Yeah, whatever it is. If you have an enemy, you don't like them for a reason. If you have an enemy that you don't like for a reason, you need to talk to God first off. But second off, you can't just go around and have people around you that that's something that all of y'all don't have in common.
That's true. And I agree with the whole thing. I feel like you are you hang with, but to add more context to it, there are multiple truths in life. There's my truth, your truth, the truth. You cannot align with something that your friend has, but to everybody else, because you align with them, that is who you are. And guess what? That's their truth. So that's still one of the truths.
Yep.
Even if that's not your truth, that's one of them. And people don't understand that because it can affect you. I was talking to I was an RA in college, so like I have mentees, and I was saying, you may not align yourself with what your friend is doing. You may not be promiscuous, right? But men, because they know how she is, she has a reputation, they only know what they see. So to everybody else, you are promiscuous just like your friend, even if that's not what you align with. And they're going to treat you as such, even though that's not the truth. That is their truth based on what they see, because you are who you hang with. The same way how people treat criminals. They will lump people in all based on who you're around. Even if you did nothing, you could still fall victim just to be in the wrong place, wrong time, and because they're gonna think you share those values.
Agreed.
And to an extent, silence is compliance. So to some extent, even if you aren't doing certain things, depending on what is being done, and you're still associating with certain people, you agree, you're okay with that. So it just reflects your values.
Yeah.
And their influence will be on you, and it's very important, because also who you're around will shape some of your values, and that peer pressure is real. They call that for a reason.
Yeah.
Because who you're around influences what you will do and your core values.
Yeah, I think the biggest things that comes with the word influence is knowing who you are, knowing yourself. There's people in this world that just aren't influenced or aren't moved by certain things, and I truly believe that's because they know themselves. There's a lot of situations that I've turned down in my life because I know myself, and I know Nick can say the same exact thing. When you truly know who you are, you don't see yourself doing certain things, and that's not a question. That's a actual statement, and that's a standard for yourself.
For sure. And that's a word, bro. That's the word. Once you know yourself, there's stuff you can turn down.
Yeah.
And as a man, we can always say, like, we all encountered, especially being in high school, there was a guy who would probably like he doesn't really care for like having sex as much, but because everybody around him is having it, he's gonna rush himself to lose his virginity to somebody he don't even care about. And it's like people don't realize because of who you're around and their values, to some extent it will push itself on you whether you